Ready? So this is a dissection of the pelvis. We want to just kind of go over the pelvic anatomy. The pelvis is made up by two hip bones, right? In this case, this is a left hip bone and a right hip bone, and then the sacrum and the coccyx are in between. And here we can even see a couple of the lumbar vertebrae, but collectively, this is the pelvis. So the first landmark we want to know, this rim right up over here that goes around like this is called the pelvic brim. Now, the area above the pelvic brim, so like all this area in here, the digestive organs would be, this is called the false pelvis. And then if I lift up here and kind of put my fingers in here, right down below here, underneath the pelvic brim, this area is the true pelvis. This is where our reproductive organs are going to be. If we turn this around like this, looking out this way, we would be looking through the pelvic outlet. Right, this happens to be a male pelvis, so you can see the pelvic outlet is small, and a female that would be it would be wider. Let's take a look at the anatomy of one hip bone. This cup right here that's going to receive the head of the femur is called the acetabulum. From here up, this is called the ilium. From kind of here down and posterior, this is the ischium. And then from the front of the acetabulum forward, anterior, this is going to be the pubic bone. So we'll take a look at each one of these bones. The first landmark of the ilium is this big ridge up over here. This is called the iliac crest. The iliac crest will end in the front as a point right here. This is the anterior superior iliac spine, or the ASIS. Anterior inferior iliac spine, or the AIIS. If we go back to the iliac crest and follow backwards, this big chunk of bone right here is the posterior superior iliac spine, or the PSIS. And then right down over here, this is the posterior inferior iliac spine, or the PIIS. This big notch right here is the greater sciatic notch. This allows passage of the sciatic nerve from inside the pelvis to outside the pelvis. The last two landmarks of the ilium. On the inside of the ilium, this kind of scooped out area right here, this is called the iliac fossa. A muscle is going to sit in there called the iliacus. Now, since this is articulated, the last landmark we're not going to see, but if I took away the sacrum, right in here there would be a rough area that articulates with the sacrum. That's known as the auricular surface. The next bone is the ischium. So I'm going to turn it a little bit this way. The first landmark of the ischium is right below the greater sciatic notch. This is called the ischial spine. This is the lesser sciatic notch. This is the ischial tuberosity. Right? This is what we actually sit on. If we were sitting on a chair, we'd be sitting on that bone right there. That's the ischial tuberosity. This big hole right here is the obturator foramen. So it turns out the floor of the obturator foramen is half by the ischium and then the front half by the ilium. So right behind my stick right there, this area here, this is called the ischial ramus. So right here would be the ischial ramus. We're going to see in a minute the pubic bone is going to form the front half. Right? So those are the landmarks of the ischium. The last bone of the hip bone is the pubic bone. So this part right here would be the pubic body. There's a little bump right here. This is called the tubercle of the pubic bone. So like we said before, that floor of the obturator foramen, this front part now that's forming the floor is known as the inferior pubic ramus, and then this one up here that's forming the ceiling of the hole is the superior pubic ramus. The last structure we need to know, right between the two pubic bones, here we have the left and the right pubic bones, there's a piece of cartilage in here that's known as the symphysis pubis, or the pubic symphysis.